Oh, don't do that. If I go onto Facebook. What? Go on here. Your phone? Yeah, cool. Perfect. So give it one more minute and we'll get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Shoes off. Thanks. Morning, Mac. Thanks, it is. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lars. Hope you're good.
Hi, Nancy.
And Frosty and Foxy. I nearly forgot Foxy's name. She's there on every session. I nearly forgot her. Tony's still with us. Great stuff. And Derek, how are your socks, Derek? Nice ones? I'm just as mad as cheese, aren't I? Oh well. So your Facebook Live shows you how strange you actually are in real life, but to me I'm perfectly normal. Just so not the case.
Madness.
No worries, Lisa, we'll catch you later. Good job. Right. I'm going to take Sid's phone. Yeah. Oh, goodness help. Okay, my lovelies. So if you have your mat, get me a drink. Have a cushion or rolled up towel or something for your head if you need it. Something soft.
Your foot.
And let's stand nice and tall. So I'm just going to find our Pilates stance when I'm in front of our Pilates legs. So just stand for a moment for me with your feet together, legs together, standing tall. Now really squeeze your bum in such a way you're sort of squeezing up and in. It's going to force your feet out so they end up being like a ballerina stance, so your calves are touching. So if you pop onto your tiptoes now like you are a ballerina, obviously your heels are going to come apart. If you draw your heels back in, keeping that same foot placement, that's what I'm looking for with our Pilates legs. So they're strong and active, our glutes are engaged, our femurs are rotated, calves are touching, heels are touching, and our feet are pointed. So that's what we're looking for. Okay, just a refresh there. Right, so standing, hip distance apart. Let's just stand and breathe. So nice full breath in, breathing into your lungs, filling out, trying to breathe out to the side. Breathe out through your mouth. You don't have to breathe out through your mouth. So whatever's comfortable, to get a nice deep breath into your lungs and breathe out. Let's put our hands on our ribs. So just more on your lower ribs. So when you breathe in, you're going to feel your lungs expand. And as you breathe out, the ribs come back down again, but try and encourage them to come closer and tighter. Visualizing the funneling in of those ribs that I refer to. Nice and tight, keep those core muscles activated. Again, we don't want to distend. When I say distend, I mean stick out our abs. We want to make sure they're in and tight, working on that powerhouse. Couple more breaths. Good job. Blow your arms down to the side, look to your left. Just feel a nice gentle stretch through your neck. Try not to lift your shoulder. to the right, center, lower your head, center and up, center, perfect stuff. Let's take our arms out to the side, do a standing saw. So our feet are still hip distance apart. Nice deep breath in, core nice and tight, arms out to the side. You're going to rotate and breathe out. Keep those arms nice and strong. Breathe in, back to center. Breathe out and let's go the other side. Breathe into center. If you're more comfortable with the rotation, having your hands here, perfect. So nice deep breath in, breathe out, rotate. Breathe into center. Breathe out, rotate. Breathe into center. Great stuff. Hands to the side. Let's do our side stretches. So our hands are on our thighs. You are stuck between two panes of glass. Doing a nice little stretch. Feeling on the outside. Back up and change. One more time. Slide down the leg. Feel that stretch on the open side. And change. Perfect. Let's do our back articulation. We're going to do it twice this time. We took our chins, knees staying soft. Drop our chin, bone by bone down. Keep those knees soft at first. Take yourself down to the ground. So here we're going to practice drawing our tummies in and up into our rib cage. So a nice deep breath in, suck it all up and into your ribs. Keep that core that tight now as we peel ourselves back up. You'll feel now the core kicking in more. Perfect, breathe out. Let's go again. This time we're going to keep our legs slightly straighter. If you have any discomfort in your knees, soften them. I don't want them full hard lockout, they're just not as soft, so we can look more as a hamstring and back. So nice deep breath in. As we breathe out, we curl down. Keeping those legs straight, we're going to curl ourselves down, aimed in our hands down to the floor. So you have a very different back position. So if you feel any pain at all in your knees, just soften. Practice again, the stomach vacuum if you like. Deep breath in, everything up and into the rib cage. Keep it that tight as we stand. And up. Good. Perfect. So a couple more breaths just to get the circulation back from our heads. Breathe in and breathe out. Perfect. Let's go down to the floor. I'm going to have my block today. Just so you can see that you can still have a nice open airway if you do use the block behind your head. It all just depends on your physical shape as well as to how your shoulders are and how flexible your neck and upper back are. So you may find it comfortable permanently with the block. Okay, so we have our neutral chin. So my airway is nice and open. I have a slight arch in my back because I have a nice neutral pelvis. My ribs and my hips are level. And my feet are on the floor, hip distance apart. So what we're going to do first of all is our core activation, putting our fingers over our hip bones, over our iliums. The iliac crest, which is a part of the pelvis. So hook your fingers over, feel the core nice and tight. Take a deep breath now, tilt your pelvis and lower your back so it pins into the ground, and you'll feel immediately, hopefully, your core activate. Keeping it that nice and tight, we're going to slowly extend our right leg, dragging it along the floor, fully straighten with a nice stretch out of that leg and draw him back in. So the foot is just gently gliding along the floor. Keeping that back pinned and that pelvis slightly tilted, you'll hopefully feel that your core stays nice and activated. If you still have to think about it, it doesn't just happen. So nice deep breath in, keep that back pinned, extend our left leg. So really keep that core tight, keep the back pinned to the ground, slide him out and draw him back in. and back to neutral. Good job. Let's go twice more. So following our right, so core nice and tight, back is pinned to the ground. You can feel your core has activated. Slowly extend your right leg, keeping that core tight. Don't let it drop out. Don't let the back come to the ground. Draw it back in. And change. Keep that back pinned. Slowly extend your left leg, keeping it strong. Keep the core engaged. Drawing back in. Last pair. And a reset if you need to. So nice deep breath in. Make sure your pelvis is tilted back as pinned. Feel that core is activated. Extend your leg, keeping strong. Bring them back in. Change for the last time. Back pinned. Feel the core active. Slide out your other leg. Bring it back. Good job. Let's do our hip loosening exercises. So these come in 3. So we're going to extend our right leg. So our left leg is still bent, foot flat on the ground. Nice deep breath in, make sure your back is pinned into the ground. I'm going to rotate our femur, so it's the thigh bone, think of the thigh bone, just moving in that ball and socket. So we're not flexing the ankle, we're not bending the knee, we're just twisting that thigh, the thigh bone in the hip socket. So 3 or 4 more, feeling it loosen. Don't push in too far. Perfect. Lower your right leg, let's go for left. So you're going to make sure your core is nice and tight and your back is pinned to the ground. Rotate that femur 4 or 5 times, or even more if you wish. So keep that foot and knee as is, and just move the femur. A couple more. Lower your left leg. Bring your feet together, so your feet, ankles and knees are touching each other. Take your arms out to the side. Nice deep breath in, make sure that back stays pinned, so think about your pelvis aligned at this point. And draw your legs both in together, nice and stacked to the right. Back to the centre, and core tight off the left. And centre. Each time you come back to the centre line, make sure you are centred, that if you haven't wandered off to one side in particular, always make sure you're nice and neutral. So nice deep breath in, core tight in your back. Let's go for 4 pairs. Get used to breathing shallowly if you need to, whilst keeping your core engaged. My second pair done. 2 more pairs to do. Reset halfway if you wish and make sure you're centered. Reset your breath, pelvis tilted, back strong and imprinted into the mat. You've got 2 more pairs. Nice and steady, back to center, other side. Keeping that core tight. So at this point here, when my knees are off to my right, on my left hand side I can feel the muscles coming all the way across around the back of my waist, the front of my pelvis having a stretch. Last time to my left. And back to center. Okay. Next is going to be our single leg knee drops. So again, core nice and tight. So breath in, back pinned to the mat. Keep your left leg bent and foot flat on the floor. Do not move your left leg. You're going to open out like a feather, like a petal, sorry. Your right leg, open out and draw them back in. 5 on the right. Keep the core tight, back pinned and the glutes engaged. 2, I've got 3 more. Think about those abs. Number 5 coming up now. Really focusing on that core being drawn in, back pinned. Change legs over. So my right leg is going to stay exactly where it is. Knee bent, foot flat, and straight in line with my body. My left leg is going to open out. So when my core is tight, my back is pinned. My right leg doesn't move. 5 of those. 2, looks like I'm not doing anything from here. Let's go out. 3. Core tight, back in. 4. It's not about the massive range of movement, it's about having the control with the core pinned, with the core engaged and the back pinned into the mat. Last one. Perfect. Okay. Right then, let's get ready for our 100. So you have the choice of feet positions, having your feet flat on the floor, up into your tabletop position, or legs extended and activated into your Pilates stance. Okay, so let's get ready. I'm going to again keep my block today. So nice deep breath in, belly button to spine, tilt that pelvis, the lower back is pinned into the ground. Make sure your chin is tucked if you're peeling your shoulder blades up. If you're not, keep that core, you shorten those gaps and get your legs into your chosen position. And let's start our 100. Really keep that lower back pinned into the ground. I actually can't do it with the block. Sorry. Don't feel the tension from the arms. We're looking down at your belly, making sure that's staying nice and flat and tight. If at any time you're feeling it's too comfortable, make sure you are really engaging those abs or change your legs to the next position up. Keep those legs strong. Looking down that navel, making sure it's nice and engaged, drawn in, not sticking out. And when you've done your 100, lower yourself back into the ground. Back to our neutral position, so have your feet flat, knees bent, neutral pelvis, so there's a very gentle arch in the back, and neutral chin. Place your hands to the side and just breathe. Good job. So the stronger you make your legs, if you have your legs extended, the more work your core, your powerhouse has to do. And then as you get used to that, the lower your legs go, the harder again it becomes. So you can keep progressing and progressing and progressing with difficulty, but really feel that core working. But if at any time you feel your back is coming away from the ground or your core is disengaging, stop, reset, and carry on. Okay, so we're going to go for the roll downs. So grab hold of your knees if you wish, roll it up into a little ball and use your knees to help you get back up, or if you're able to do your roll up. So we're going to go for 8 roll downs. So have a nice deep breath in, tuck your chin to lift up your ribs. It helps create that C curve that we're looking for. Our elbows are high, hands on the knees or thighs. I'm going to keep that core lovely and tight and lower ourselves back. So keeping that round in the back and coming back up. So breathing work, again, drawing everything from down the lower up into your ribs. Go for 5 more. So core nice and engaged, up and in. Lower back so your arms are straight and curl yourself back up. Look at your navel, look at your belly between your hip bones. Draw it in. You don't want it sticking out. Really focus on making the muscles come in on the inside. Got 3 more. So, nice deep breath in, belly button in, organs up. Hands to the thighs. Again, using my core muscles to get myself back up, not my arms pulling on my legs. A way to ensure that you're not using your legs or arms is once we have got ourselves, this is my final one, into our extended position, my arms are straight. Is literally my hands are just gliding to the side of my legs or taken away. You know that when you're pulling yourself up, nothing else but your core is going to be doing that. Great stuff. Okie dokie. So we are now going to do 5 full roll downs and roll ups. Chaps are working on their strength. When you've got down to the bottom for your first one, what I like to do is to work on your first phase. Have your arms up in the air, turning your chin, and getting it as far as you can, and lowering that down. Do 5 of those. Those who are able, do the 5 full roll downs and back ups. Those who are still working on the strength could always work on the top phase. They can get themselves down, all the way to the ground, absolutely perfect. And then when here, get themselves up to wherever they can do. Back down to the floor, knees in, roll yourself up and repeat. Make sense? So you can get yourself down, but not back up. Do the downward motion. Then when down, get up as far as you can, back to the floor, and use momentum to get back up to your sitting position to go again. Okay, so let's go for 5. You've probably already started. So nice deep breath in, don't put them into spine. Pop all the things into your rib cage, slide down, bone by bone, down to the ground. If you wish to take your arms overhead, feel those nice flat shoulder blades. Bring up your arms when they're above your head, tuck your chin, peel yourself up, bone by bone, and back up. So let's also think of what's going on with our legs. We'd like active legs. We're not dropping out to the side, staying with our toes up. Thinking about our thigh muscles. I've got one more. Perfect. Okay, let's make ourselves all back down to the floor all together. Let's all work on the downward roll. Controlled bone by bone. Really focus on not dropping. Even though you want to, if you think your core's going to go, think about more of a C curve and keeping that tension on in here. So let's have our final one down, and we're going to stay down on the ground. Good work. So let's have our knees bent, feet flat, again about hip distance apart. We're going to do our shoulder drops. So again, our hands are not too close together. They are directly above our shoulders, if not a little bit further out. So let's extend ourselves up, reaching away from the mat, and then dropping down, like 5 of those. So nice neutral pelvis, hips and ribs are level. Extend up to the ceiling and drop down. Feel how your shoulder blades are spreading out on the mat. When you get your arms in the right place, the spreading of the shoulder blades makes more sense. And feeling how nice and open the top of your chest is also going to feel. Last one, up and drop. Good. Right here, bring both knees into your chest. We're going to go for our single leg stretch series. So our first one is the pushing out and the extending of our leg. When we extend our leg, it's an active leg. We are thinking about the rotation of our feet with the activation of our quads, calves and foot. So the whole thing is going to be working together. It's not just a case of popping our leg out and it's a little bit loose and not connected. We're going to go for 5 pairs. We have the choice of breathing, of having a breath in for a whole left and right, and an out for a left and a right. Or just breathe however you find comfortable, nice and shallow, keeping that core engaged and the back pinned. That is the most important thing. Okay, so the breath is yours. We're going to do 5 pairs. So we'll all start off in the same place. So nice deep breath in. Draw that belly button into your spine, input that lower back into the mat, tuck your chin and raise your shoulders, hold onto your right knee and let's start. So push out the left and make sure it's active. Squeeze those glutes, bring them back in and change. So we don't draw that leg back in until we've felt everything working. Really push out, good. Keep that back pinned. It's my 3rd pair. Like 5 pairs in total. When you have finished your 5, lower yourself back down to the ground, feet back to your neutral position, and have a short rest. And these ones are perfectly to do with your cushion or block behind your head. If you're feeling your neck is slightly tired, just make sure the placement of the block, towel or cushion does not affect your airway. Okay, so now we're going to do our double leg stretch. So I'm going to have a nice deep breath in. Actually, I'll do the single scissors first. Build up to this one. So let's extend both our legs up into the air, activate them forward so we have rotated those femurs, calves are together, heels are together, toes are pointed. With your breath, make sure your pelvis is tilted and your lower back is nice and imprinted into that mat. We're going to hold on to our right leg whilst lowering our left. We only lower as far as we can, keeping the core tight and the back pinned. 6 pairs, loving control. So as we're lowering that leg, he is active, he is pointing, he is strong, he's trying to reach away as far as possible. 6 pairs, so we've got 5 more to go. Nice and controlled. Think about the core, the back. A nice stretch through those hamstrings. 3 more, I think. But as you know, my counting is a bit rubbish. Keep that core lovely and tight, and that back pinned into the mat. That was my last pair. When you're done, lower your legs back down to the ground, feet hip distance apart, knees bent, and rest. Good. We're going to do our double leg stretch now. So we start off with bringing our knees into the chest, so a little lift the hips to make sure that lower back is nice and pinned into the mat. We tuck our chin in and peel our shoulder blades up off the floor. Our hands are on the sides of our knees. And we extend our legs and our arms. So in this position, and then we extend our arms and our legs and bring them back in. Okay? The important thing is to keep that lower back pinned. Core is really tight, legs are strong and active. So like 5 more of these. 5. 4. Latte strong legs. 3. Look down at that tummy, make sure it's in and flat. 2. 1. Perfect. Lower yourself down, feet to the floor, and rest. All good. Let's go now to our side plank. So we're going to hold our side plank, then do our rotations reaching through and back to our side plank. So if you're still building up the strength of your side plank, get your top leg up and over the top and push through that foot to bring yourself up to your side plank position. It helps you sort of get the nice shape that we're looking for, the active waist that we're aiming on, but you don't have as much strain going through the feet, or have both your feet stacked. Okay, so let's go up into position. We're going to have our upper arm directly above us, looking up towards our fingers, making sure we're opening our chest area. We're going to hold for a count of 5. Are you ready? Yeah, I like to start with a bent leg first and then straighten. That's an open position, especially when we've got trainers and some hard floor. So nice deep breath in, up. Everything nice and stacked. Hand directly above, look up at those fingers, holding for a count of 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Lowering down. Very nice. If you find it too uncomfortable on your feet, having them stacked, have them side by side. Again, have them on a cushion or something softer than the hard floor. if your elbow is on the mat. Okay, now we're going to go for 3 reach throughs. Lovely and controlled. Reach as far through as you can. Think about the rotation, what's going on in our waists, to have a nice active waist. Let's get ourselves up into position. Nice deep breath in. Get ourselves up, nice and stacked and comfortable. Hands up, then reach through, touching behind, and back up. Nice and controlled. If you struggle with the rotation, then just stay in the side plank. Good. Lovely. Let's change sides. Okay. So a 5 second side plank. Remember to lift that top arm directly up above. I want you to look at those fingers to help open up that chest. You're working again on your plank, bring that top leg over so you can get up to the plank position. Okay, so make sure your elbow is under your shoulder. Let's get ready. Nice deep breath in and up into position. Good, good. Top arm up, fingers up, looking up. Making sure your elbow is under your shoulder. The shoulder should feel more comfortable and the chest should feel open, a nice strong line. 3, and counting Derek, 2, 1, and down. Good job. Lovely. Then we have our 3 reach throughs next. Are you ready? So nice deep breath in. Get yourself up into position. Lovely, strong, active core and waist, arm up, and 3 reach throughs. Let's go. So you feel some more in your lower legs. 1 more. And down. Good job. Onto your tummies. Put your hands into a little diamond on the floor and rest your head. And let's just breathe. Okay, first of all, we're going to do a bit of upper back work. We've done this position before when we've activated our legs are up and we have our hands to the side in the shape of a fork. But I'd like us to keep our legs down at this point, so not only straining our lower back. But the top part is going to be the same. So it's a nice deep breath in, push your hips into the ground. You're going to start off with your hands directly in front. You will have your gaze down. And you're going to draw your elbows down and back. You feel your elbows going to like back pockets and your shoulder blades are like wings tucking in. I'd like 6 of those. Okay, so let's take a nice deep breath in. Draw your belly button in, push your bits and bobs into the ground, but don't sort of strengthen the legs too much, so don't want too much strain through our lower back. Extend your arms in front, and then pull under control, nice and level those elbows back. Pause for a second here, and then extend. So keeping that chest off the ground, draw the elbows back and squeeze. Now 6 of these, we've got 4 more, draw them back, squeeze. Halfway, 3 more, squeeze, fully extend, draw them back, 2, 1 more, squeeze, perfect. Hands back into a triangle, onto the floor, rest your head. Now we're going to bring in the legs. So keeping our hands flat at the moment. Nice deep breath in, draw your belly button into the spine, push your hips and bits and bobs into the ground, activate those legs. So your glutes are down and your sort of legs are slightly off the floor by the own intervention. Core loving tight, chest up. Let's hold that position now for 5. Really squeeze those glutes. 3, 2, 1. And lower. Good job. We're going to bring our arms up now into our retracted position. So nice deep breath in, core tight, squeeze your glutes, bits and bobs into the mat, really strong active legs. Start with your arms in front and then draw those elbows back. I'm going to hold in the drawn back position for 5, really squeeze everything. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax. Let's go again. This time we'll start with the arms out in front and then lower them back to sides. Let's do the arms. You can see what I'm doing. Pointing towards my feet. Okay, so nice deep breath in. Draw your belly button to spine, hips into the mat, squeeze those legs and glutes, stretch arms out in front and spin them round to the back so that chest is up off the ground, core is tight, feeling the work in your lower back, holding for 4, keep squeezing, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Hands back to a triangle, head on hands and breathe. We're going to stay in this prone position. Let's bring our hands underneath our shoulders, so our core, and putting our hips on the floor. I'd like you to engage your core now, so it's more that your thighs are on the floor and your back is strengthened and activated. So you don't feel anything in your lower back. If you've dropped your hips too much, you'll feel it in your lower back. I like to have it nice and active, so your hip bone's off the floor, but your back is straight. Bring your legs closer together, not close to touching. Keep your core tight. We're going to curl them up and pause at the top. Okay, so we're going to do 10 of these. 2 legs together, core tight. You feel it in your lower back. Make sure you haven't dropped your hips. So you're in a really strong position. You're like this on your quads in a pressing position, on your elbows under your shoulder. So 10 of these. Up and squeeze a bit more. So it's all in your hamstring. Keep those legs are strong, active. You're curling. Imagine you have something, again, the beach ball, poor beach ball, is on our thighs, the back of our legs, and we're squeezing into that beach ball. So you can feel those hamstrings working. This is number 5. We've got 5 more. The glutes tight, hips are off the ground. There's no strain for that lower back. Everything's tight. 3. Control that curl and the pulse. 2, 1 more. Pause the time. Perfect. Lower yourself back to the ground. Hands in a triangle, head on hands. Cat and cow stretch. And pointed dog, so bring your hands around to the side, push yourselves up, get yourselves onto your hands and knees. You're going to have your hands directly under your shoulders, your knees are directly under your hips. The cat stretch first, so we're going to drop our head and drop our hips. Okay, so a nice deep breath in. Get everything from your belly button and your stomach up and into your diaphragm. Really hug it in, rock your head, push through the heels of your palms. Keeping that core tight now, engage your glutes, squeeze really tight, and transition. So head up, hips are up. Try to make yourself as long as possible. So you see how I adjusted my position? So I was leaning back slightly, and to make sure I'm making myself as long as possible. Good job. Back to neutral. Let's go again. So nice deep breath in. Do a stomach vacuum, suck everything up into your ribs. Hook it all in, drop your head, drop your hips. So keeping that core tight still, make sure you have breathed. Squeeze your glutes, transition now. Lift your head, lift your hips. Squeeze. And back to neutral. Go down to your forearms, onto your haunches. Stretch out your arms and stretch. up onto our forearms, up onto our hands and knees again. So this time we are going to do our leg extension. So if you're comfortable already, go straight in and do 2 rounds with the hands. For those that aren't, I'll start without for 1 round and then bring them for the next. But if you're already comfortable, please bring your arms in on the first round. So into our positions. So we are in a beautiful box position. Our knees are under our hips, our hands are under our shoulders. Nice deep breath in. Plant your right foot, and extend your left. So your foot is flexed, your toes to the ground. Everything's lovely and tight, and you're pushing your heel into the back wall, making yourself long. When you are stable, everybody else can bring their arms in. If you're still getting used to the exercise, stay in this box position. Hold for 5 more seconds. Really keep things tight, engaging the glutes and the core. 3, 2, 1. Good. And back into neutral. Let's reset, go to the other side. So plant your left toe, nice deep breath in, belly button to spine, suck your bits into your ribcage, push out your right heel. Again, your legs in line with your body, your glutes are tight, and you're pushing that heel away. For those that are already comfortable and progressing nicely, extend your arm this time. Hold for 5 more seconds. Squeeze. 4, strong leg. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Back in. Okay. Ready. So this time we're going to bring our arms in, everybody. Let's plant our right toe, core nice and tight, nice deep breath in. Push away that left heel. As soon as you feel stable, extend your right arm. Keep your gaze down to the ground. Make yourself as long as possible. Really point those fingers, push that heel away. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring them back in. Good, and let's change. Plant your left toe. Nice deep breath in. Let's push out our right heel. Nice and strong. Once you are stable, bring out your left arm. Really put your left fingers away and push away your right heel. Core beautifully tight. 4, push, push, push. 3, 2, 1. Draw them back in. Back to neutral, down to your forearms, down to your haunches, and stretch. Good. Check in to make sure you're all okay. Perfect. Back up to our forearms. We're going to go back down to the ground and practice a couple more of the push into plank position exercises. So have your hands directly outside of your chest, so maybe thumbs in line with nipples, or you'd like them to be. So core's living tight. So I've tucked my toes underneath. My elbows are in line with my body. I've made sure my shoulder blades are nice and flat and my back is active. I'm going to push to the heels of my palms, pushing myself backwards towards my feet. So take a nice deep breath in, back is locked, push yourself back and up into your plank position. Okay? Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend your elbows and lower yourself back down to the same level of control. Okay? If you get so far and feel like you can't get any further, get the control back and go down anywhere you can safely without face planting. We're going to try 2 more. The most important things to remember are to make sure you've pinned your toes so you can push yourself back towards your toes. You're not thinking about going straight up. Use the heels of your palms to push yourself away, again in the same direction that you are going with your feet. When you flatten your shoulder blades and activating your back, you have the solidity in your core to assist with the movement. Okay, let's try for 2 more. Hands to the side of your body, by the side of your chest. Make sure your toes are pinned under. You've got some pressure going through them. Nice deep breath in. Roll those shoulder blades back so the back is activated and push the heels away. Big palms. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then reverse the motion. So flexing those elbows, keeping the arms nice and close to the body. Back to the floor. Let's release everything. Hands back into a triangle. Toes are relaxed. We've got one more. Let's go for that third and final time. So bring our hands to the side of our body, nice and close. Tuck your toes under, core nice and tight. Roll those shoulders, put those shoulder blades in their pockets. Push to the heels of your palms and bring yourself up. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flex the elbows and lower yourself back down. Same control. Relax the toes, hands out, rest. Good job. It is hard, but keep practicing the movement. Using physics is not always a matter of strength. Think about this force projection. Okay, let's bring our hands to the side of our bodies. If you wish, push yourself up with your newfound move, or up to your knees and get yourself up, because we're going to get onto our bottoms for the sword. So I'll wait until you are up and ready. Rearrange everything. Right, get like a onesie. Hasn't got any seams and bits that just annoy me. So, are we seated comfortably? Good. Right, so we're going to have our legs just widen the shoulder distance apart. We have active feet, which means our heels are down and our toes up to the ceiling. I'd like you to think about your spine position. So tilt your pelvis so your bits and bobs are more down to the ground. Good. So take a nice deep breath in, nice tall spine, arms out to the side. Keeping our feet active as you rotate, we breathe out and the back of the hand is going to touch the side of the opposite foot. Excuse me, if you find it too awkward with your hands out, again we can have our hands across our chest, going for that rotation, trying to get your knee, this is an elbow, your elbow past your other knee. Okay, so nice active legs, pelvis in the right position so we feel our spine feels a lot straighter. Nice deep breath in, core tight, arms out to the side. Rotate, and as you breathe out, the back of the hand is on the opposite leg. Super. Scoop round, breathe in. Nice and tall again. Active feet still. Rotate, back of the hand to the other foot. Feel that stretch. Good. Breathe out. Breathe in 2 more times. Up. As you breathe out, rotate. Touch the back of the opposite foot. Keep those feet active. Scoop, breathe. Rotate, breathe out. Scoop and breathe. Perfect. Lovely. So have your legs now however you find comfortable. You can have them in a mermaid position with both legs to the side, or you can be sitting on your block, have your legs crossed, one leg in, one leg out, don't mind. So sit on your mat, again think sitting tall, a lovely tall spine, feel elongated in your chest and ribs lifted. Plant your right hand, extend your left arm straight up in the air, and let's curl over. So again, try not to lean forward nor back, you are stuck between the 2 planes of cloth. Back to centre. Lower your left hand, extend your right, and lean. Good job. One more time, plant your right, extend your left, lean. Back up, plant your left, extend your right. Good job. Have your hands either on the floor, in front of you, on your knees, depending on how you're sitting. Again, think about the tall spine. If that means you're on a cushion, slide up, you've got your knees bent, you're sitting forward, absolutely fine. It's the spinal position that I'm looking for to make sure we're working on the straightness of our spines. The elongation of our spine, I should say. Obviously, we have our natural curves. Okay, so sitting nice and comfortable, sitting nice and tall, let's look to our left. So again, try and keep those shoulder blades down, the traps aren't getting involved. Back to centre, to the right. Back to centre. Let's lower our chin. So again, you're going to feel the tension through the back of your neck. Try not to let those traps come up. Back to neutral and lift up to the ceiling. Feel the stretch all through the front. Good job. Okay, let's get ourselves up to standing, nice and steady. Then spin yourself round onto all fours. Curl yourselves up. Get up to standing, nice and steady. Okay, once we're all up, let's get quite a nice wide start. So it's quite handy my mat length, about a metre. Let's have our hands out to the side. Just reach and stretch around your other toe. Reach and touch. You need to soften your knees. Absolutely perfect. Two more plays. Reach and touch. And trying to go to the other side of the foot and pulling against that foot to get that stretch. One more play. Rotate and pull. Last one. Good job. Let's walk our feet in. Okay, nice deep breath in. All the way up to the ceiling. And push. Make yourself tall. Up to your tips. Really stretch. Breathe out, bring your arms down. Let's go again. Breathe in. All the way up to the ceiling. Push. Make yourself long. Lower. Good. Let's roll those shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades. If they're feeling more loose, the more that we're doing these exercises. So you don't want all those fibers between your scapula and your thoracic vertebrae. Intercostals. Getting stuck. And change. Good job. Let's go on to the back articulation. So we're going to keep our legs relatively straight and not locked. So nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, lower your chin and roll yourself down. Just feel the weight of the upper body as we get ourselves down to the floor. Those who wish to try, go for the walk out. So hands on the floor, walking ourselves out, getting ourselves out of a very similar position as we were when we were doing our floor get-ups. If you wish, do the floor, back up, and crawling back in. Let's curl up, bone by bone. One more time, either just the stretch or the stretch and the walk out. So bone by bone, down to the floor. Feel all the parts of the body relax. Walk ourselves out if we are. Hands nice and planted, everything solid. Press. Curl up. Perfect. 5 last rolls of those wings. Last look to our left. Your shoulders nice and flat. Centre to the right. Down. And up. Perfect. One last little shake out. And that's you, my lovelies, done. Very nicely done. So a few new moves we're sort of progressing and changing as we go. But you're getting so fabulous. Coolio. Take care, my lovelies. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 o'clock over 50s. I should know the timetable by now. Have a lovely day. Any questions, send them over. Ciao for now.